And when I saw that one clip, oh God, that was so humiliating.
Hello?
Yeah.
Alright.
Hello. Hi.
Hello. If you don't know, Vorton is a Roblox game about retro Roblox. The creator, Valira, has been in quite some controversies as of recent, from community problems to controversial sayings and opinions. Today, I'm going to interview another original player of Vorton, Neman. So, Neman, it,
Hello.
introduce yourself.
Well, I was I was Vorton's ID7 originally, one of the very few top 10 first players to sign up on Vorton, and I was one of Valira's really good friends back in the day. Um, to me personally, as a person who has been going on to Vorton, I've been partaking in just a few tiny collaborations, just as as a tiny bit of way to help the community. For example, there was this one really old event called Valira's Libanef, where there was a trailer for it, where I was actually doing throat singing backgrounds for some sort of certain music
Okay.
played within it too. So yeah, this is like it's just some of the things that people know about me, but in general, I'm just a 17-year-old guy. I code sometimes, and yeah, I'm a gamer. Whatever. Yeah, that's me essentially.
That was great. I play games too. My first question, where did you hear about Vorton and why did you play it?
Okay, look. Long story short, I know Valira way back. This does relate to the question. Just hold on. So Valira used to be a good friend of mine that went under the alias as Naddy, N8DDY.
Okay.
And essentially, he was one of the people that were, I think, if I'm not wrong, a part of the development team of the game named Variant, which is literally an earlier version of Vorton, made by a different guy named DDR8. So, um, according to what I know, due to some Alex in which I haven't really heard of and which I'm not really certain of, him probably just, doing really bad stuff back in the day, he got removed and he left Variant. And I was just here with him a little bit afterwards because Natty was really good friend to me back in the day. It was like more than 3 years ago, maybe 3 years exactly.
Right.
And so and, suddenly, I rejoined Variant and I see Natty on the chats suddenly. I decided to add him and I was like, "Yo, we did not speak to each other in such a long time. It was really cool. Good to see you again." And Natty was then telling me that he wants to invite me to this project of his, right?
Okay.
Where he essentially made Vorton. Like he wasn't really sure on the idea yet. Like I was like trying to suggest him some names and he was like completely sure on the name Vorton. And I even made like a full-on logo of Vorton, like the actual name, not just the letter V, with a friend of mine to contribute, in which he initially used. And I joined Vorton, and I was rolled as a tester, and I invited some of my friends to play the game, and the community at the time had like only 24 members. It was crazy. And I started playing it literally, literally when it got released. So the second it got released, the second it got out, I signed in, seventh player, and I just played the first game that was to be ever seen, which was that one headquarters game.
All
So
right.
that's about it, yeah.
All right. So, you know, so you've known them for a long time, or you known him for a long
Yep,
time. All right. So,
yep,
like,
yep.
how did you get to meet them? Like, how was your relation with Valira, like, early on?
Well, I don't really remember much because the only thing that I remember, or at least some of the things I remember, was just me and him playing Variant a ton. Just me watching him do stuff on um Vorton. No, Variant. What did I say, Vorton? I meant Variant, my fault. Yeah, so just him going on Variant in general, just telling me what he's doing, and also some having his own costume accessories. If I'm not wrong, I'll not really remember. But I believe, if I'm not wrong, he had this like that one community server, and he chose me to be a moderator for it. Now I moderated it obviously, but I don't really remember like why I got removed off the mod team. Maybe he knows, but like I completely forgot. And so right off then, I just don't really remember contacting him ever since. I think it was probably because of those all those allegations where he was doing some really really bad stuff,
Right,
like inwards and all that stuff,
right.
which was really bad at the time. So I just decided to jump out of it, I suppose. I think
Okay.
that's why I jumped out. And yeah, that's how it really was. I don't really remember anything else except for the variant things and the moderation thing that he put me in charge onto. That's the only thing I remember.
All right. So you said you were a mod on the Vorton server early on?
No,
Oh,
Volton did not exist at the time. There
right.
was a Discord server that he made. I don't really remember what it was, and it wasn't anything Volton related. It just gave me the responsibility to moderate.
All
I
right.
don't really remember what the server was, but I believe he gave me the responsibility to moderate.
But what
Yeah,
you were on the Vorton server, right?
yeah.
All right.
On the
Well,
Volton server, well, I was, yeah, when he was out, essentially, I was.
okay. Well, were you like a well-known person or like an influential person on there, like Massim, GRK, or LXLL
I
Knight?
think.
You think so?
Yeah, because a lot of people knew about my support to Volton, especially when it comes to recommendations, me being a tester and all of that. A lot of the famous people like Mason and GRK, those guys specifically, they knew me, they saw me, and some I even joined before them, so it would be quite obvious for them to acknowledge me. I think that even this LOL Knight guy, I think he was the one responsible for creating the Teapot Sanctuary, right?
Yeah, he
So
was.
yeah, he knew me as well when I contacted him not long ago. So I suppose I was influential, at least until I got banned, which was a pretty terrible situation at the time.
Well, hold on, wait. So you did get in contact with the Alex Knight person, right?
But no, at that time I wasn't really quite acknowledged of him
Oh,
back in the day
okay.
because I was always focused on just the pure OGs, and I'm talking about like Mason, JK, maybe even Break a Boom. Like as far as I remember, those are most of the players that I've seen in Vorton
Right.
alongside me and some of the friends that I invited.
Well, I've started to get, well, I never knew about any of this until I've talked, or yeah, I talked to Alex Knight. They said like,
Mm.
the Condo games and just them being a general rude person.
Yeah, I actually heard of those Condo things like not quite long ago, you know. It was quite embarrassing considering how I was watching the videos made by Bun and all. And when I saw that one clip, oh God, that was so humiliating.
But like,
That was so humiliating.
but after like word got around of them being in Condo games on Roblox, how did he respond to that?
Well, first I was completely weirded out, but at the same time I was not quite surprised. Come on, visit his Roblox page right now and tell me this person does not look like a Condo player. No, no offense to you, Valera, my fault if you're watching this. But to me personally, right? I'm like just sitting here thinking to myself in regards to the situation. I'm like, yep, this was not a thing I did not expect to occur. I'm sorry, but the things he has been doing recently, the stuff he has been saying, it will be quite obvious to me personally that this guy will probably do something very very similar to what he did. And to me personally, I'm just disappointed. I'm just disappointed in Villira for even doing these things. I'm not going to like just raise a campaign to go against that guy, but it will be a thing I'll probably discuss on with like other people that I know, and it will be a thing that I will acknowledge as a thing that other people should know because this entire Condo allegation thing was really recent, and there's even proof to it. So I mean, that's just disgusting, you know.
Of course. So when did you hear about
Uh,
Valira being in like drama, like in this so-called drama?
uh, well, it was very recently when I decided to appeal to Valira because I had this one situation with him where I was accidentally, according to what he says, breaking a rule
Right.
in the Valira's Library events. And when I tried like DMing him in Ystera about this entire situation, right? Instead of like discussing this properly, I just got blocked. And when I complained about it in general chat, they just decided to time me out multiple of times. And I remember Valera saying something in between the words, if you don't like this community, leave, which was quite literally irrelevant in question. Because I do love the community, but I just don't like the ones who own it. Because the ones who own it are not even willing to discuss drama or to discuss situations properly without being so inherently narcissistic. I'm sorry, this is just, to me, it's just completely saddening to see that an owner of a game that is of such high caliber quite literally misses one of the most key and most crucial personality traits of a game owner, which is transparency, first and foremost. So yeah, I just me personally, when I saw this entire drama thing pop up and Valera just dodging all of it, that's when I realized that I'm not the only one who has been facing this. It's a plethora of people, you know? It's not
Right.
just me, Bun, or other people out there that experienced this before. But there is a lot. There is a lot of people, and I'm currently contacting them.
Of course. So,
I'm trying to see what they're on about. I'm trying to see what was their own point of view of all these situations. And maybe I could do something about it. I hope.
all right. So you said you were banned. No, you found this out recently because you were banned recently, right?
Recently, it depends what you consider recently, because it was in Halloween, if I'm not wrong,
Oh,
or somewhere around that. Maybe not. I'm not really sure about it. So, to me personally, I think that it wasn't really as quite recently, but it was not like a year ago. It was like a few months ago.
definitely. But, how did you get banned? Because you did mention that, you did get banned, and, when did that happen?
So, what I did essentially, after trying to contact Valera about this privately, right? I was ignored, I was blocked, and I was just trying to, reach out to them in public chat because they were not for shit, responding to me, as in. And believe it or not, instead of them actually trying to pay attention to it, instead of just, maybe trying to figure out if there's something that's actually wrong in what they're doing, they just decided to time me out every time I was talking about it. And the only reason why I was talking about it over and over is because these guys weren't like willing to discuss it in any way possible. They just dismissed everything without stating why they did what they did. Because according to Valera, right,
Right.
I broke a rule within the event that stated that I cannot share like anything related to the puzzles within the game, in which I indirectly did, I will admit, but I wasn't really telling the person back then the actual codes in order to break through whatever puzzle slash maze it was. So technically, I didn't even do it. Not socially, not technically is it valid to do so. And without even providing like any sort of evidence, they just decided to dismiss it. They dismissed the entire case. They are doing nothing about it. And a lot of people that were present at the time could probably confirm to you that I wasn't really doing that stuff. Even people like Jay, which was one of the old Vorton developers out there, that even he quit because he couldn't handle Valera's narcissism. Yeah, but you could see where it's coming from. And the ban, I think it's just like almost any other that has been done by Valera himself. Not because of something that actually deserves the ban, but just because it goes against his opinions, which is
Right.
pretty sad.
Because they are what I've been hearing, like a very narcissistic person that like can't take any form of criticism.
Yeah. They really hate critics, like in any form, any sort of way. Yeah.
Yeah. So after you got, banned, you know, like why did you involve yourself in this, quote unquote drama?
I believe that I was the first quote unquote victim of this thing where he was just really narcissistic and he just decided to remove me just because my opinions, that although were true, were just going against what he believed, it just banned me off. Now, same goes to the rest of the dramas out there. The only reason why this occurs is because of pure narcissism coming out of the guy. So when I decided to take upon me the role of like sharing this drama and trying to construct it and gain points of views and contact other people. Essentially, I chose to take responsibility of all of this because I knew that although I was the first, I was not going to let anyone else, experience this entire thing that Valera made them feel again. And because I was really disappointed to figure that although I was the first victim, I believed that he could probably change. Maybe he could be a bit, I don't know, maybe a bit more elaborate, maybe change, maybe not do that stuff again. But nope, he did not change at all. So I decided that if he cannot change himself, maybe the reflection of his doings might be able to, finally do something. Finally show him that there's no reason to continue doing what he's doing in such ways, at the very least. So the only reason I involved myself into drama is simply because I was the first one to experience it. And I'm not gonna let anyone else experience this.
Very noble. Well, after all
True.
this, you know, how's your what's your relation with Valira right now, if you even have one?
Nope.
No
No.
relation,
He,
just nothing.
he blocked me on every platform. I tried to
Everything.
contact him. I even tried to appeal instead of freaking trying to talk it down, responding to me. He just sent me a gif of that one clip where the the fat heaven guy just puts a
Yeah.
denied stamp on the papers and just showing it foolishly.
I'll put that up.
It's
But
childish behavior, man. Childish behavior. Unbelievable. This guy's another in the game.
oh my days.
SMH.
Well, so how do you feel about Vortal now? Is it any different when you first joined?
Wharton? Yeah, it kind of is. It didn't really change a lot, considering how I was seeing it through other people, in which gave me like some clips of how Wharton looks like. Me, personally, I like how Vorton's like right now. I
Mm,
like the game. The game is seriously good. I admire it, honestly. There's nothing bad about the game. The only thing that's bad is just the owner itself.
right.
Instead of getting better, he has been just getting worse and worse every single time. So, to tell you for real, I love the game. I love the community. I love the people. Not the owner. The owner is, oh, that's a whole separate identity over there. That's like the people and the government.
That's what I was
He's
gonna contrast it to.
literally, you get me. You get
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's it essentially about like what I feel in regards to voting at the very moment.
Right.
That's all I feel.
Well, finally after all that, what's something you want to say, to the people who still play Warzone?
To you people, okay, if you have been experiencing these harsh comments, these harsh feelings, and all of these terrible behaviors coming off the developer, the owner, or those who moderate the game but just do what they're not supposed to do. If something really feels illogical to you, don't just stand there and let them silence you because they want you to play the game. But they will give you ultimatums. They will tell you you either obey and play the game or you don't and we'll ban you out. Don't listen to that. And I'm not telling you to do this because I want you to spark dramas. I'm telling you this because you have every right as a person to go ahead and tell them straight in the face that they're incorrect. And when you do, trust me, I'm 100% sure that they will not keep you. Why? Well, go ask the latter of the community. All the famous ones, Mason, GRK, Lol Knight, you ask them. You ask them why this occurred. Even some of the people in which I've invited to play the game agree with me that the platform has been only going for the worse. And honestly, I'm willing to help you in any way, any day, regarding whatever dramas you've been facing, regarding whatever troubles you have been facing with the moderation or the people. Tell me, I will pile it up, and I might find a way to truly get into you people and let Volton and the owners to finally listen for once. That's all I have to tell you.
Beautifully spoken. Um, that
Yes,
was really
sir.
good. Yeah, that was really good. All
Hell
right.
yeah, it was.
All right, so, with that, the interview's over. You know, thank you for coming with me, for doing this interview.
Sorry.
You know,
No problem. Oh,
it,
shit.
it was
Yep.
great. It was great having you, and I hope, what we talked about has more light brought upon it.
Don't mind the background noises. I don't think you can hear them. Anyway, yep. It was. Come on.
What?
These background noises. Okay. It was really great to have you interview me, and I really, really appreciate everything. Really.
Yeah, of
Believe
course.
me, if not to you, I don't really think the word will be able to go out, and I don't think people would be able to understand how much of an importance it is to not just fight, but like advocate for what people truly deserve at times. Honesty, transparency, it's always needed. And these people, they don't get it in there. Fulton doesn't give you that. So thanks. I need to thank you, man.
Of course, of course. Um, yeah, it's been great.
Yep. Skibbity toilet!